Hello, everyone, and welcome to our info session today on project management. My name is Mashroor Chaudhry, and I'm the manager of recruitment and sales. Now, before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the land on which Toronto Metropolitan University is built upon. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe Mississaugas and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. I thank the Indigenous people of Turtle Island for their efforts to protect the land, and I deeply regret the past injustices they have endured. As Toronto Metropolitan University seeks to move forward in partnership with Indigenous people, I pledge to foster an environment that is more inclusive and welcoming of all communities. Now, I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's session. Your microphone is muted throughout the event so as not to disturb the other attendees or the presenters. For the hearing impaired, we have automated captioning available, which you can access by activating it in the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. And you can submit your questions for today's speakers at any time by typing them into the question box of your control panel. Now I'd like to introduce our panel for today. First, we have Jamal El Ali, academic coordinator of the Certificate of the Chang School. Next, we have Arina Morar, who is a student of the Chang School with over 15 years of experience in the healthcare sector, now a clinical specialist with the Ministry of Health. Next, we have Maria Fraser, who is a project manager at TD with over 11 years of experience. And then we have Muhammad Sumani, who is also our industry expert, who has been the Senior Director of Risk Compliance and IT at RBC. So we have a really amazing panel, and we're really excited to hear from them. But before I invite our next presenter to do a quick overview, we're going to run a poll just to check the temperature of the room. So if you can take just a couple of seconds to answer the questions on this poll. The first is, what motivated you to consider the certificate? And what is your current level of familiarity with the field? You have career advancement, career change, skill building for current role, and personal interest as the options of the first question. And for the second question, there is high, moderate, and low. So yeah, if you could just take a few seconds to answer this quick poll, it's going to inform our panel about the audience that we have and also inform our team with some really good feedback for future sessions as well. So we'll leave that on for just a couple of more seconds, and then we will share the results with everyone. Okay, so career change and career advancements are the top reasons for people to consider the certificate. And most of our attendees have a basic awareness of the field, with some that are low and or no prior knowledge, and some that are high and well informed about the program. So thank you again for sharing that. Now I will invite our academic coordinator, Jamal El Ali, to go over a brief overview of the certificate. Jamal is a project management consultant and educator with over 20 years of experience across aviation, banking, IT, real estate, and cybersecurity, with senior roles at Lufthansa, CIBC, and TD Bank. He serves as the academic coordinator for our project management certificate program and is also a regular speaker at PMI chapters and industry events on AI and the future of work. And he's also currently pursuing a PhD examining AI's impact on the workplace. Welcome, Jamal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mash. Welcome to the panel and welcome to our audience. My name is Jamal El Ali, and I am going to try to walk you through these items that we see here on the agenda, hopefully leaving enough time for your questions and also to, for the panel to share their experiences with you. I'm not going to read the agenda, so let's go ahead and move to the next slide. So talking about project management, I am very biased towards project management. It does something to the brain that is very nice, and it just makes you, arrange your life better if it is on a personal basis, your work, whether you are a project manager or you are using project management for the work that you are doing. It just makes you do things more efficiently. From a definition perspective, we're talking about tools, techniques, frameworks, knowledge for planning and managing and delivering projects uh, successfully in everything really that we have in life. And when we think about earning a credential, for example, or while relying on the experience only, absolutely, there are people out there who work and are successful project managers without any, uh, let's say, formal education or any certifications. But having, these the education or the certifications just gives you more information, more knowledge as well, complements what you know already and opens doors, for you to progress further in your career. Employers sometimes put it as a condition in their postings, for example. Others maybe don't care much, but for sure, the knowledge that you gain really uplifts your knowledge further from there. And the certifications, whether from PMI, talking about PMP or CAPM or PMI ACP or the rest of PMI certifications, again, gives you basically the opportunity to go further with your career. Next slide, please. So project management trends. Um, let's say in the last few years, we have seen big change in project management trends, and with the advent of artificial intelligence, for example, that like the list of trends has just like gone crazy, so to say, right? So from an AI, artificial intelligence, perspective, how AI is being used in the project management world, automating tasks using AI agents, for example, uh, for example, administrative activities that we do in project management, and it's expanding further and further depending on how certain organizations are choosing to use artificial intelligence. Also, we have agile project management, for example, and how it has advanced, where we have organizations using agile project management on its own, waterfall on its own, and also hybrid, where it's combining both um, uh, agile and waterfall, and sometimes coming up with a customized form of what kind of project management methodology they want to follow. Emotional intelligence, also something is very important, has become actually a big component of the conversation around project management. Project managers and the emotional intelligence component when we are managing projects and how we actually need to pay attention to that and use it wisely. Artificial intelligence, with the existing humongous amounts of data that we have been actually, collecting and continue to do that through our projects, the ability to use that to make decisions, right? And then using AI, back to AI, right? With generative AI, for example, or data scientists or everything around that enables us to a great degree to make, better decisions while the human being is still there as well. And then, as you could see, right, we have the diversity and inclusion as, absolutely as part of it, continuous learning. All these things are project management trends that we continue to see. And I'm pretty sure next year when we talk about the same slide, we might be talking about some newer things as well that will, become part of the trend. Next slide, please. So in our project management certificate, we have basically 8 courses that you have to take. There are 5 required courses and then 3 electives. And you are able to complete the whole certificate basically from home through distance education, fully online, without having to come to the campus, which gives you huge, flexibility. You can take more than one course at the same time, depending on a number of conditions, such as are you working full time, not full time, family situation, and other factors. But the option is there for you to basically enroll in more than one course at the same time. In terms of the duration, all courses are 12 weeks in duration. The first course only, CTEC 210, fundamentals of project management is 13 weeks. So we can say roughly 12 weeks per course. And basically, we keep our courses, like basically the course content, the curriculum, always up to date. Recently, for example, with PMBOK 8 that was published in December 2025, we went through our courses and updated them to basically be aligned with PMBOK 8, also with artificial intelligence trends as well. So as a student, you're not basically learning something that you go like, wait a minute, this is already outdated. What am I doing here? And that's like something that we take very, very seriously. There are multiple streams that you can choose from when you kind of join our project management certificate, whether it is general project management or architecture, engineering, construction, or maybe business and information management or community and health services management. Like different streams depending on what you aspire to do with your career, existing or even something that you would like to go into, for example, in the future. Something to say briefly about the investment that you have to put towards such a certificate. We understand that we're all, like especially with the economy and so on. So we have bursaries available where students can apply actually, to seek some financial help. The decision will always be done, based on the situation of each student, but at least the option is there with these bursaries where a student can apply for some financial assistance. Next slide, please. So I think I mentioned, that AI enhanced certificate means all our courses have AI components embedded in it. So as a student, you will actually be exposed to how AI is being used in project management. We don't expect you to become like a techie or an AI guru through these courses. Absolutely not. It's like teaching someone how to use Microsoft Office, for example, Word, Excel, and so on. These are things that you will use in your environment if you are a project manager or you're aspiring to become a project manager. So AI is embedded in the course content, the curriculum itself, as well as in the assignments that you will work on through these courses. Next slide, please. By completing the project management certificate, I mean, you're going through 8 courses, right? For example, you're learning fundamentals of project management. You're learning risk management. You're learning planning and scheduling. You're learning leadership. You're learning about agile project management. I mean, just think about the knowledge that you're acquiring through all these different, project management pillars, if you want, right? Which are aligned to the 10 knowledge areas. Now they are changed with PMBOK 8, but kind of still apply to a certain degree. And that's what you are gaining through these different courses that you will complete through this certificate. Next slide, please. Project management salaries, absolutely right. Again, there's no like this is it and the rest forget them, don't believe them. But in general, right, if you have a project management like a PMP certificate and you have experience versus someone who doesn't, there is a gap in this salary, right? Doesn't apply to everyone. Yes, absolutely, it doesn't. But in general, right, the PMP certification to achieve it, like truly achieve it with hard work and studying and so on, it really takes the knowledge up high. And it shows as a project manager that you are actually speaking a different language, you carry yourself differently, your projects are completed in a different way. Hence, there is that window where you can earn more money than someone who does not have a certification, PMP or a CAPM or a PMI ACP. I'm not focusing only on the PMP, okay? But the PMP certification is the well-known one out there. It has been actually there for quite a while. There are and it's from PMI as well, right? You need to keep that in mind as well, which is a very strong organization that stands behind all these certifications. Next slide, please. So what do I do with my project management certificate or with the knowledge that I gained through the project management courses? Working as a project management person, okay? You can basically go in an entry level, like a project coordinator, project control officer. Those are, positions that work as an assistant to a project manager, okay? And don't like think of them as, oh, just like no. There are some project coordinators and project control officers on like complex projects that are like amazing, and they are so important for the work. So we shouldn't really downplay these roles, but they work like an entry level. And then from a project manager perspective, there are so many titles for what this person can do. This person could be a project director, project manager, junior senior project manager, senior project director. This is a person who takes a project and delivers it successfully with all these different titles. Organizations go with titles, in so many different ways. Project engineer, technical project manager, it could be someone from a technical, for example, company. Project managers who work in industrial, for example, factories and whatever, they could be actually called technical project manager because it's a technology that they are, delivering through projects. Or sometimes if someone is working for a technology company and is part of a sales team, that person can use project management for that. And then, as you can see, project financial officer, project budget, it's about project management and how it should gets the brain to be organized in a certain way where everything starts to work in a more organized and more efficient way. Next slide, please. So more than a credential, academic and career advising, right? Industry connections, uh, flexible online learning. So why this slide is answering basically what might be going on now in your mind. I mean, why TMU, for example, compared to others, right? Absolutely, as you can see here, right? Um, as an academic coordinator, I'm not touting my own horn, but I have a certain way of how I embrace all the students very fast. There is no delay in advising, in mentoring, in pointing them in the right direction, and so many other things. The same thing goes to our program director and so many other people in the background that can actually step in and provide guidance. The industry connections that we have, right? I mean, look at our amazing panel here, and also, other industry connections that we meet with on regular basis to understand what employers are looking for, and then we try to bring back that into our curriculum. The flexible online learning that we have seen a moment earlier, right? And then full access to what other resources that we have, such as the library, the learning resources, and the bursaries that we talked about. And also, if a great achiever through the project management certificate, then there'll be awards and other, incentives to join our certificate. Is that the slide? Yeah. Okay. So again, just visit our website. If you have any questions, do not hesitate. We offer you a safe environment. I love this term and I like to say it very loudly. This is a safe environment for you to come forward and ask any questions on your mind. There are no silly, stupid questions or none of that nonsense. Every question is always a great question, right? So we encourage you to do that. And again, if you have any questions, reach out to us again and again until you feel comfortable and then make a decision, which is hopefully to join us. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Jamal. That was an amazing overview. And now we will go over to Rina Murar to share a little bit about her experience with the certificate. As I've shared before, Lina is now a clinical specialist at the Ministry of Health. Welcome, Rina.
Thank you. So just a little background. I started as a registered nurse, worked for about 15 years at Sunnybrook, moved to North York, did a bit of community work, and now I work at the Ministry of Health. So I actually started this certificate a while ago. I graduated about 4 years ago, and it is a very flexible program. So during that time, I was able to stop taking courses for a semester because I had my son. I was able to be flexible with online learning. Some of them had sessions with professors that were live, some were recorded. So it is very flexible in what you can schedule. Um, I didn't actually set out to take the project management certificate when I started. I actually really wanted to learn more about project management. And I think that's what I start telling people is that yes, you can go out and get your PMP, but I find that the courses really help you with your knowledge. So to get those skills, working through projects. There's so many great courses just to learn. And in my role now and in my previous roles, I use all of those skills all the time. And I've said in previous sessions too, it's not only for work, it really translates to everything that you do. Like birthday parties you plan or vacations. Like I have my schedule for Iceland. I'm going to Iceland in September, and it's all in Excel, and it's all project managed right down to like the finances. So it bleeds into everything that you do. And like I said, the electives are amazing. If I could have taken more courses, I probably would have. But I also went on to do my master's as well at TMU. And when I got my job as a clinical specialist, my boss sent an email with like a welcome email. And the thing that he highlighted was not my master's, it was the fact that I had my project management certificate. So in my role, I'm not a project manager, but I do manage projects. I do touch on them. And yeah, the way I set up my work schedule and like my like even tracking, it's all stuff that I learned in this course.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that, and congratulations again on your master's. And thanks for sharing with us your journey. Okay, so moving on to our next speaker, who is also an industry expert, is Maria Fraser. She's a project manager at TD Bank. Maria earned her BCom from U of T in 2001 and spent her early career in supply chain logistics and operations management at Grand & Toy, where she built the interest into project management.
Sure.
And she joined TD 12 years ago as a PM and completed her PMP, and now is returning to project delivery with TD. Please welcome, please join me in welcoming, Maria Fraser to say a few words about her experience and her journey in the field.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, and for most of my peers that are PMs right now, none of us have had like a straight line necessarily into project delivery. A lot of us, as Mesher mentioned, like I was at Canadian Tire and Grand & Toy, and so I was working for major retailers, very much in the supply chain and logistics space, but had this real natural affinity. As Marina mentioned too, right? It bleeds into your life. And so in those roles, I had the opportunity to lead projects, lead teams, mobilize folks to completion, whether it was bring on a new project line that required some very specific logistical requirements. And I decided then to actually do a project management certificate with the university down the street. So it wasn't at TMU. And but this was, back in the day. And back then, actually, it was in-person classes, right? So you guys are very lucky that this level of certification is being offered online. It's so great to have this vehicle to use. It makes it way more flexible. Whereas, I after work had to show up in a classroom a couple times a week and meet with groups and things like that. For me, though, project management has, opened up my career further, right? I mean, when I finished my certificate, I wasn't really looking to become a pure PM, to really be focused on project delivery, but I had a natural affinity for it and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that when you're working on projects, a project is a project is a project, right? So you can be delivering any variety of things. It can be a product to a store shelf. It can be a new technology build. It can be, as Jamal talked about, an AI initiative. Like there's so many opportunities in project management. And so it was when I shifted from the retail world to the banking world, it didn't really make a difference because that knowledge is so transferable. And obviously, once I was at TD Bank, I decided, let me pursue my actual PMP because, you don't have to have it, but it is just, one of those differentiators, just like the certificate is. When somebody's reading a piece of paper, they see that you've got a project management certificate. maybe as you're moving forward in your career at different levels in project management, they maybe look at, this internationally recognized PMP. So that, that's kind of been my journey. And I'm a big advocate for anyone who is considering project management, because it is not specific to any particular industry at all. Like, it's very transferable. Obviously Rena's in healthcare. There's a lot of folks in healthcare and construction. So whatever kind of piques your interest, doing a project management certificate, giving you that additional knowledge, helping you to kind of formalize maybe skill set that you already demonstrate on a regular basis that leaders or other teachers have noticed in you, and just kind of formalizing that and understanding the tools that you can leverage, I think is a win-win, right, for your career as you look forward. And then of course when you're planning that friend trip too, right? It's in all aspects of life.
I love that.
Yeah, for sure. And the only other thing I wanted to just talk about really briefly was just as we think about emerging trends, Jamal talked about that AI, obviously we can't get away from it. And what does that mean for us as PMs? So I think it's amazing that that's a part of this coursework, and even leveraging AI and PM as a PM. I'm telling you right now at the bank, we are starting to leverage Copilot is what we have a little bit more in our day to day. And it would have been amazing to walk in and have like some education behind it, as opposed to right now I'm just kind of playing with it and we're all just kind of learning as we go. And that also that idea of that hybrid between agile and waterfall. The industry really is like, from a tactical perspective, saying we want to try to be more agile, but the reality is financially, senior leaders need to understand where the dollars are going. And so you're seeing that hybrid. And so there's that flexibility needed. So there's nothing right now that says you have to be an agile practitioner or a pure waterfall PM. You have that flexibility to move between both worlds, because right now we're seeing that in the industry in real life. That's my spiel.
I love that. No, thank you so much. And yes, I know you were down the street, but you're here now. So we're just really glad to have you, and really glad that you're sharing your perspective and your insights with us today. Okay, so next, our final speaker is Mohammed Soumani, who used to be the Senior Director of Risk Compliance and IT at RBC. Mohammed brings over 20 years of leadership experience across banking, policing, government transportation, consulting, medical, and distribution, along with the project management experience. Please join me in welcoming Mohammed Soumani.
Hi, good evening, and hope everyone's well. First of all, thank you for this opportunity to speak to fellow project managers. So I really appreciate that. I think Jamal, Rena, and Maria have covered quite a bit from a project management perspective. I think what Rena said to me resonates very well, which is project management becomes your life. It's how you plan every trip, every vacation. And Maria said the same thing. So it's becomes part of you and your nature in planning anything. From a real life perspective, it's the only way that work actually gets done and delivered in the workplace. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, whether you're in healthcare, whether you're in finance, as Maria is in TD, or RBC for that matter, or aerospace, any industry you work at, any large project that you deliver, pretty well project manager is what's behind that to help make it deliverable. That means anything from small little programs that maybe one or two people that spend 2-3 months doing and delivering something, to mega 3 to 5 year projects that are $150-200 million projects. Every one of those projects requires the project management principles, and having a organized method, which is using some kind of project management methodology, whether it's AI based, whether it's agile, whether it's waterfall. These are all different ways of delivering projects, and they're all important in their own way in how you deliver it based on the organization and the type of organization you're helping deliver for. Different organizations have different lifestyles of how they want work done. So it's important for you to understand all the different nuances of the various techniques of delivering it, but then working together with how the client wants it or how the company that you're working for in helping deliver it. And the principles of project management are fairly straightforward. That's what the course is going to teach you. It's an absolute dream to go through this, to understand the different techniques, different styles, different methodologies, learn about the different principles of project management, and then focus on delivering what's right and best for your client. And it's really very simple once you get into it to understand the different nuances of project management. I've worked in project management for well over 20 years, delivering small projects to mega $150 million projects that take 3 years to do. And believe me, the more complex it is, the more you need to rely on the project management principles, because otherwise you keep losing yourself in that project and not realize what you need to focus on. So having those principles is absolutely core at these things, because large projects become largely complex and political. And so it's very important for you to learn how to do that and how to navigate those projects to make sure you're focusing on what's important to deliver. That's kind of the high level. If there's anything else I can help answer, I'd love to talk more and answer more questions. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mohammed, for sharing that perspective from your end. That ends our presentation portion, and we'll now open up the floor for Q&A. I see we've got a lot of questions that have come in already, so we'll get right to them. So the first question is, how does something like this differ from online PMP certifications through the PMI Institute? And I'll just combine that with, do you still need to get further testing done with PMI Institute after finishing the certificate?
So we're talking about two parts. The education itself from the Toronto Metropolitan University, the 8 courses, right? Some of these courses, their coursework is combining midterm final exams and also assignments. Some rely on other techniques basically to measure the competencies. And then you pass the courses, you get the project management certificate. The other part of the question is going for professional certifications. We call them professional certifications. For example, if you want to go for PMI certifications such as PMP, CAPM, PMI, ACP, and so on, we have to go through PMI's world. Most of these certifications require 2 parts. One, to qualify first for writing the exam based on your experience and other requirements, and then writing the exam itself, right? That's a PMI example. There are other, professional organizations out there, such as, if you want to become a certified Scrum Master, and you have other. But again, the certification process is a bit different. So there are 2 parts to the answer here. One is the professional certifications, which also have their own governance and they change rules sometimes. And our project management certificate, where we try very, very diligently to walk the shoes of the students all the time and think about, if I were the student here, how would I feel if this is now the requirement? And how would it affect me and my family and so on, right? So we try to be, if I may use the word empathetic, I love that. I love the empathy in how we always think of this. I'm a student myself, right? So I know how it is. So I hope this answers the question. And if not, I hope that the person who asked could follow up with us with any other questions.
No, that was great. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that, Jamal. Okay, next question is regarding, how many courses you can take at a time, if there are prerequisites, or can we take more than one course at a time?
The simple answer is you can take as many courses at the same time as you can. And in terms of the prerequisites, when a student, for example, expresses the desire to take multiple courses at the same time, I basically look at their resume, I look at their experience, and my job is to guide them, to set them up for success. So if the person has no experience, but still has this kind of project management understanding in them. It's that conversation really that I have with the student, because the work, the last thing we want to do is tell the student, hey, go for these 3 courses at the same time. And we know that the students will probably leave and never come back for anything that is related to project management. So the answer is yes, you can take as many courses as you can, but we will try to guide you, hopefully help you be set up for success when you make that decision.
Rena, maybe you can talk a little bit about when you were taking the course. Did you take more than one course at a time, or were you doing just one course per semester?
I did one course this semester just because I was working full time at the same time, and with family life. You could probably do two if you were working full time and maybe didn't have anything else going on in the background, but it does get pretty packed, not only just with classwork, but also with group work as well, as it's a big part of the courses as well.
Mm.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sorry, allow me to say something. Um, so last year we had a prerequisite. Before you could take any courses, you must complete CTEC 210, Fundamentals of Project Management. We remove that condition. So you can really ask to enroll in any of the courses that we have for the project management certificate, the core courses or the electives in any order you want, no problem. But then again, there's that conversation trying to give you some guidance to set you up for success. Just wanted to highlight that change from last year.
Awesome. Okay, so I know we have a lot of questions to get to, so I'm going to combine the next few together, and maybe all of you can touch on this one a little bit. It is a bigger question. And the question is, can you give us a taste of what PMs actually do? What kind of skills, occupational or PM skills that are important to know or learn for someone with no background in project management?
Or you can change the questions and answer by do what project managers do not do.
Sure.
No, please, I'll let the panel.
Yeah, maybe Mohammed and Maria, you can weigh in a little bit on this.
Sure, I'll go first.
Sure.
The biggest thing as a project manager in terms of what you do, and it's really boils down to what Jamal said. It's what we don't do. It's your job is to help deliver whatever it is that you've agreed to help deliver in the timeline and the budget that you've agreed to. So you basically are bound by a contract to help facilitate the delivery of that work, be it a piece of software, a building, setting up a car, AI work, whatever it is that you're delivering. Your job is to help make sure that you deliver it on time, on budget. And that means you're the negotiator, you're the contract facilitator, you're the manager, you're the person that facilitates getting that work done. So you've got to put on every different hat to help facilitate getting that work done. And sometimes it gets down to begging people to come on, I need you to get this work done. And that's what it's going to take to get it done. So you just get it done. And you need some of the technical skills of the environment that you're working in to make sure that people are not BSing you. So you need to understand a little bit about the lay of the land. Is this work actually going to take 3 days to do or 3 months to do? So if you don't understand the basics, they're going to just bury you in that. So, it's going to take 3 months to do, and you'll get killed at that. So that's kind of my feel on it.
For sure. And like to echo what you said about kind of getting people to move forward, the big thing I always talk about is the interpersonal skills, right? So it's building those relationships. Remember, as a PM, you could have been on a project for a year and now you're getting another project. You're walking into that team as this new person. They have all of the day-to-day BAU knowledge. You've got to foster their trust. You've got to help them understand that you're there to help them be successful. So I always say the interpersonal skills are massive, even more than like knowing how to, build a formal project plan or something like that, right? I mean, you're going to know those skills, but the interpersonal. And then the other piece is, I always say, we're in like the business of risk management, right? There's everything around it, whether it's financial, whether it's change management. You as the PM, as you're helping this project move forward, you really are sitting there and working with the team around what are the downstream impacts? What are the potential challenges down the road that could be roadblocks for us? And you really are working with them through that. It's not as simple as building a new system. You need to understand what are the impacts in the organization of this system, who are the stakeholders that need to know, and what are the potential challenges. So, like risk management, we do that in our everyday lives. Everybody does it. It's a massive part of being a PM for sure. Hope that helps.
No, absolutely. That's a great answer from both of you. Next question is, what is the focus of AI in the course, and how does that apply in the PM environment? So maybe Jamal, you can start with that, and
Yeah.
then whoever wants can chime in.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned earlier, the intent is not to make you become a techie or an AI guru, whatever. No, absolutely not. It's from the tools, for example, that we use as project managers in the field. As a project manager, you have to know how to use Microsoft Word. You have to know how to use Microsoft Excel. You have to know how to use Microsoft PowerPoint, for example. And then if your company has also like an enterprise application such as Mercury or PlansView or Microsoft Project or Smartsheet, or you have to know how to use these things. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to function as a project manager, right? Uh, By the same token, AI, think about it like an application, right? So, Maria, thank you. You mentioned Copilot. Any organization that is a Microsoft shop, they are basically going with Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Suite, and Copilot as well, like built on it. So then using that. So in this course, you're not going to be learning how to create AI agents. Absolutely not. That's technical. But you will actually learn that there are out there so many 5 or 6 types of AI applications. I'm calling them applications that are actually, really dominating the market, like Claude, like ChatGPT, like Gemini, and so on. So part of the course content, the curriculum will actually talk about that. We'll give examples, right? And in the course work that you do, you are going to be asked to use these different tools to do certain parts of your assignments and interactions and discussions and so on. That's basically the exposure that you will have uh, through the curriculum, if I may use that, through all these courses that we have. For the second part of the question, I think probably I'll probably ask I don't know whoever. Maria, do you want to take a shot at how Copilot or Mohammed or Rina? If you are using other tools, that's fine as well.
Yeah, we're using Copilot right now at the bank. And I think I mentioned earlier, we didn't get any like training or anything on it, right? So we're just kind of playing around with it. There's a learning curve, right, with AI. You have to learn it, it has to learn you. And so we have those challenges where we're like, well, can you make me a visual Gantt chart using these perspectives? And it's just learning it to make sure that it's actually producing what you would normally produce kind of manually to try to save time. Because in reality, like we're in meetings all of the time, we're busy. And so if I can get Copilot to kind of spit out some of those documents, some of those slides that I need for executive steering committee updates, and that's going to save me time. But right now it's, we're learning it. So it's not as fast as I would like it to be. So like, yeah, I want to take this course because I'm hoping it'll give me some tools.
I think Maria is, just add to that, Maria has just nailed the bank. Copilot or any one of these AI tools, they're all in infancy in these large organizations. They're coming in, people are playing with it. It's a job aid. Think of it as a tool that helps you do your work a little bit better, faster, smarter, and more concisely. But beware, you can ask the same question twice to an AI tool and it will never give you the same answer. So you can get a completely opposite answer. So just be careful with that. But aside from that, it's really cool what it can do, how fast it can do it, and how it can consume large amounts of data and help you summarize or produce whatever it is that you're looking for. So great aids to help you, but don't rely on it 100%.
Yeah, I don't have the experience like firsthand, but I do know someone who works in learning and development at a bank. And they're still in the process of creating and testing and even giving education to staff. So it's still really new, and there's lots of nuances, and everything's happening so fast. So I think that it's good that it's included, but I think things are changing so fast that I think the basic skill is just to learn what it does and how you should and shouldn't use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love all of that that you all shared. Definitely really insightful. I just also want to say that we have project management sector specific and occupation specific skills that are taught in the certificate as well, which are required in the core courses. And you can find all of these skills listed in the certificate page under what you will learn. So if you're interested, please go ahead. I know we are at time, so we can just take one last question. Jamal, if you can let us know if the certificate received from this program is equivalent to that of PMP from PMI, or should the PMP be achieved in combination with the certificate from this program?
So normally, when you go to write your PMP exam, you have the knowledge, you have the experience, and then you study specifically for the exam itself. So studying for the exam on its own doesn't really give you this vast amount of knowledge that you have to acquire somehow. So I would actually combine both. I would take the certificate, gain the knowledge, okay, that can help me do my job actually better, and at the same time give me all the knowledge that I need so I can actually be ready to write my PMP exam. So I would say both complement each other. If you take the certificate only, you have knowledge for work, and then the PMP exam will basically, give you that additional experience, and also preparing for it will give you that added value to your, resume and whatever you want to do with your career further. So it's not that one will replace the other.
And the courses also provide PDUs that help you
Yes,
maintain your
yes,
certificate as well,
yes.
right?
If
If
you
you're
are,
already someone that holds a certification.
yes, absolutely. If you hold any of the PMI certificates and you take any of these courses, you have PDUs, which we all need PDUs to keep our certification like valid, right? Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. I know we don't have any more open questions left, but any last comments from anyone while we wrap it up?
Good luck in your journey.
Yeah.
Love
It's
that.
honestly, it's doing a certificate like this is great. Okay. Mhm.
Yeah. If
Amazing. So I have one
Yeah.
last poll that I put in there while Jamal gives us his last words. Go ahead, Jamal.
yeah, my advice to all of you, please, life doesn't wait, and dreams, if they remain dreams, what's the use? So don't be afraid, okay? Don't be afraid really to just take the first step and enroll in one of our courses so you can actually begin, taking the first step towards achieving your dreams. I encourage you to dream big, but not only leave them as dreams, go after them, do them. Okay. If I tell you the insane things that I'm doing at the same time, I'm only able to do them because I use project management to organize everything. And so without it, honestly, I would be, like I published, for example, recently my 10th book and talking about subjects that are, again, crazy, project management. So I encourage you really just to think about it, but don't wait too long. Life doesn't wait. Okay. I met Maria 8 years ago or more. And Rena, same thing. When you said you graduated 4 years ago, I'm thinking, oh my God, really? So, and Muhammad, the same thing. I've known Muhammad for almost 20 years now. Anyways, this is like, so don't wait. That's my advice to you. Is just don't wait.
Yeah, you've already taken the first step by joining us in this info session today. And if you want to take the next step, please go to our website at continuing.torontomu.ca. All of the information we shared and the recording will be sent to you via email within the next 24 to 48 hours. And on behalf of our esteemed panel today, thank you so much for joining us, and have a great rest of the day and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Very weekend. Bye-bye.